For Warren, all this, let's bring in Mike Saraille, retired U.S. Navy SEAL and host of the Unsung of Arlington on Fox Nation, and Rebeccah Heinrichs from the Hudson Institute, senior fellow. Thanks to both of you. Mike Saraille, look, I am not the military expert, but I have talked to several who believe it would not be difficult for our Marines, maybe in combination with others, to take Kharg Island. And I think as far as this Iranian war is concerned, that should be the next major step. The president's been talking about it. It's clear he's thinking about it. I would go ahead and do it. What do you think about this?
Larry, you may be correct. And what we saw last night with the 80 targets, it was very selective. Basically, Iran's maritime attack or disruption network. We're talking about air defenses and radar systems, anti-ship missiles, drones, and C2 nodes, and they even removed 60 fast attack boats. So that may have been setting the condition for what we call joint entry forcible operations, which is where the Marines come in and seize Kharg Island. But Trump has effectively given them white space for defensive measures, the capabilities of Iran to reach out and hit Kharg Island if the Marines take it. But the point that you're trying to drive home is economically it squeezes them, to which that economy will die. It's already dying. The impacts of the economic fury have been crippling. This is just the last straw that we can grab.
And Rebeccah, I'm coming to you in a moment, so hang on. But just to follow up, Mike, what you're suggesting, what I heard, is we don't want to give them white space, the Iranians. So if this is going to happen, it should happen fast? Is that what you're suggesting, taking Kharg Island? Let's not let the grass grow. Let's just go ahead and do it?
No, I would do it, especially after those strikes. Again, you've set the conditions. When I'm talking about white space, that's as much buffer for our Marines holding Kharg Island to increase force protection for them, to push the Iranians or destroy the capabilities they have of reaching Kharg and giving the best chance to our Marines to hold it and hold it well.
All right, I got it. Thank you. Now, Rebeccah, you know, let me step back a minute. I'd love to see him rip up the memo of understanding and rewrite it. I mean, it should be the terms of an unconditional surrender, no more money. Whether they restore the naval blockade, I don't know. If they can, the military can enforce the sanctions on oil sales, that would be a good thing too. But it's time for the professionals to come in and rewrite the thing in terms that look like an unconditional surrender, Rebeccah.
Right. The MOU, as it was currently written, I had major problems with it, Larry. In particular, two provisions. The first provision essentially lifted sanctions immediately. And that's what we've been living under, where the Iranians have been able to be flooded with cash from their oil sales. And who is buying Iranian oil? The Chinese. Nobody else wants to touch it. And so Iran, of course, immediately, as soon as it can have oil sale profits, what's it going to do? It's going to reconstitute its forces. And so that was a flaw. And the second flaw was permitting Iran to have any kind of management at all over the strait. It was implied in one of the provisions that they couldn't toll for 60 days, and then just said 60 days. And so Iran has been insisting that they get to manage the strait. That is a non-starter for the United States. I agree with President Trump's decision to launch again retaliatory strikes, and there's going to be more tonight that I'm hearing. And I agree that if we do take Kharg Island, you're going to see a series of strikes again to make sure that those Marines can land as safely as possible. So look for targets that could potentially be used to hit any Marines that would land on that island. So it's not just going to be strikes on Kharg. It's going to be strikes all along the coastline to make sure that the Marines can be as safe as possible.
Yeah. You know, Mike, the whole MOU, which I have defended, even with its ambiguities that Rebeccah pointed out and so forth, but it was performance-based. You know, you talk to White House sources and military sources, and they all said the same thing. They have to earn their money, the Iranians. Well, it just seemed to me we were really pulling that trigger too fast. We were letting them sell 50 or 60 million barrels, according to some of the oil traders I talked to. That raises a lot of money. Most of it was sold to China, as Rebeccah suggested, by the by. But at least it gave Iran a lot of money. But for what? What performance have they done? I mean, it's very clear now they're breaking the entire MOU, and certainly the easiest, most straightforward, and that being open up the Strait of Hormuz, you know, for freedom of navigation. So I like performance-based. I like incentives a lot, but they didn't do anything to earn the money. So it's almost like we have to start from scratch. And that's why I'd redo the whole thing, the whole MOU.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Larry. And we've had this conversation many times. This is in line with how Iran views agreements. And they've never honored any agreement over the past 47 years. I agree with you. What I think is a strong call is you have Trump at the NATO summit, and he was very willing and very quick to make a decision to strike Iran. And all our NATOs just saw that when Trump says something, he means it, and he's going to follow up with harsh consequences. The only difference between Trump and all the previous administrations is he actually had the harsh consequences in place with the U.S. military that if they did not abide, they would get struck. And they just got hit hard. And that's the first time in our lifetimes that we've seen a president actually not create a red line, or if they do, the second that's crossed, they hit our adversaries, and it sends a world not only to our allies, but to our adversaries.
You are so right. I mean, that is the brilliance of Donald Trump. He draws a red line, he's going to maintain it. You're 100,000% right on that, and it's so important. And, the Chinese are watching, the Russians are watching, the North Koreans are watching. You're totally right on all counts. It is so important. Rebeccah Heinrichs, you got to come on set with me, and together we're going to rewrite the MOU. All right, and I'm only going to give you one sheet of paper, okay? And you can have a computer, but I tend to use my pen. One sheet of paper. All I need is 3 or 4 key points on this thing. The whole rigmarole of the 14 points with their ambiguities, and everything ends with the idea that there's going to be a deal. I mean, let's rewrite it. Let's rewrite the thing. Why is that? It's time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have all of the economic leverage. We have all of the military leverage. There is no reason to be giving the Iranians any leeway here at all, any money up front. The United States gets to set the terms, and we certainly do not want to be giving the Iranians the opportunity to have the Chinese come in and provide diplomatic cover, which, by the way, the Chinese have backed the Iranian claim to be able to toll the strait. So the United States should be setting the terms, and if the Iranians want to play ball, they follow our terms, and then they get any kind of other benefit. The other point I would make, Larry, is it's not just that we want to send a message to our adversaries. We want to demonstrate that the United States is the ally to be in our corner. The Iranians continue to fire at Kuwait, Bahrain, the UAE. If the United States wants these countries to side with us and to side with the Israelis, to continue normalization with the Israelis, our strongest ally in the region, the United States cannot permit the Iranians to continue to fire on the infrastructure in these Gulf states. And so I think it's imperative for the United States to demonstrate that we are the ally to back, we are the strongest power, and we've got the political will to defend our allies and to fight alongside them. That's the way for stability in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, I think Mr. Trump is making that clear, and I think some changes, at least some tactical changes in the campaign are about to happen. Anyway, thanks to both of you. Mike Saraille, thank you, and thank you for your service always to our country. Rebeccah Heinrichs, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it very much.